Oh, one of the reasons I wanted to work for Anderson County is the county I live in and it's the county I grew up in. So I want to give back to the county that I grew up in and work in the area where I live.
So how long have you been on the police force?
I've been in law enforcement since 2005.
Awesome.
We should be on scene here in just a second.
Things like this, do you roll up with blue lights? Or?
No, you know, a lot of calls are actually specific on what we can run code to. It sometimes has to be a serious of nature type call, you know, a break-in in progress, any type of fight, if it's involving weapons or something to that effect. But a lot of calls like these are normally just routine response because they're so vague of what could actually be going on. So that's 114. It looks like there's nobody home. Because actually some calls you actually want to turn your lights off so you don't announce yourself before you get on scene. So it's just sometimes a safety.
In route 2133 on scene 2135.
Real quick first.
There was one time on thing.
The front window's open.
2135.
See?
Yeah.
Got a cat in it.
You probably left there. Canada Bravo 46, 1023. If y'all want to step out and just hang tight right there.
Roger that.
Good.
Okay, hold on. I can't get you out.
99 Ford Ranger to Ivan Dennis Virgin. We'll just respond to 824 clear.
Can't get you out.
Clear.
From the sheriff's office. I'm sorry to bother you. Your neighbor had a 911 pickup call. Do you know your neighbor? You don't know him? Have you seen him at home, or do they work at night? You really don't know? Okay. Well, I don't think they're home, but if you do me a favor, if you see them come back, you just tell them we came out here for an 911 pickup and just make sure everything's okay and they need us to call them. Okay? Well, no, apparently they may have called 911 by accident. Nobody home, and you know, here's the doors are shut, the lights are on. It looks like somebody's gone. So if you see them, you just tell them that we stopped by, just make sure everything's okay. Tell them that they need to call us. All right, thank you, ma'am. No, you don't have to. Just tell them if they want to call us, they can, and they'll tell them what we can. Okay? Bravo 46. Bravo 46. That's right. There's nowhere home out here. Sheriff's office. That call just ended up being a call for service, and there's no one home. So apparently, it's a false call. I spoke with the neighbor to get them to, when they see the neighbor, to tell them we responded. If they need us for anything, to call us back. That's the only information I have to go on right now, so there's not much I can do. But a lot of 911 calls end up being false calls. But we'll still respond to make sure everything's okay.
And now are we headed to another call?
We're 10-8 right now, which means we don't have any calls assigned. So we can look for traffic enforcement, look for any suspicious people in the area, check businesses, check property. Usually about this time of night in this area, it'll be shortly before another call comes in.
Okay.
Amazing.
So that's kind of what you do when you go out on patrol. You just start kind of going into the area, and even if you're waiting for things to happen or get a call, you just patrol.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This area, Beat 5 and Beat 6, is really the busiest area. So there's no in between. I always tell people in this area it's either wide open or it's dead. There's nothing going on or it's wide open. But I may stop a car or two. Car stops, I will tell y'all, if it's a car stop, definitely just stay in the car
Okay.
until I make contact,
Okay.
just so I can see when I'm stopping, because you have no idea what you're stopping until you get up there.
And that's what, I mean, you guys are so brave that takes such bravery to just walk up in a car and have no idea what you're encountering.
That's domestic violence situations and traffic stops are the two most dangerous things an officer can do, because you have no idea what you're walking into. You'll see how I try if I do a traffic stop. I usually try to flood the car with light to see if I can. I do not like walking up to a car with a real dark tinted windows, because I can't see people's hands.
Sure.
As soon as I walk up, I like to see these. As long as I can see nothing in the hands, I'm okay.
Okay. So number one thing people should do if they do get pulled over is keep their hands on the steering wheel.
Hands on the steering wheel, and don't. And 90% of the people you stop, and I worked in Clemson City for 10 years, and most of the age there is 18 to 22 years of age, and as soon as you stop them, the first thing they do is they're reaching in the glove box. I have no idea what they're reaching for, but usually I know, if I see them fumbling papers, that's what once I explain to them, hey, please don't do that, and wait till the officer, is there and says, hey, can I reach in here to the glove box and grab this information? Usually they'll ask, do you have a weapon in there? And if they say they have a weapon, usually, depending on the officer, they'll ask to secure it. Or just ask you to step out, and then they'll retrieve the information for you. Okay. We're responding to a residential 1085, which is a burglar alarm. A lot of people have burglar alarms on their residence, and they get tripped by either someone opening a door that's not supposed to be there, or sometimes it's actually the homeowner who just sets their alarm off. But we always respond to make sure and see what's going on. Sheriff's office. Now we get to start pulling door handles.
Say again.
So now we get to start pulling door handles.
Alrighty.
If someone's not at home, then I'll start checking the doors and windows. Got a locked door in there. I didn't mean to corner you there.
No, you're fine. You got a job to do. Back up.
I'd like to say now that you're here, it's not going to miss. See? I don't know why it does that. I'm sorry,
Yeah, your
boss.
fog lights work, but just your actual headlights project a certain number of feet, and that's what you're required to have by statute.
Yes, sir.
There's two operating.
Well, if it keeps popping off, I'll go ahead and get the
Okay.
light again and go ahead and get that fixed if it's keeping coming off.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not going to write you a citation. I'm just going to write you a warning just to make sure you knew what was going on with your
Yes, sir.
headlights.
I greatly appreciate it.
Okay, so if you don't mind just hanging tight in your vehicle,
No
I'll be right
problem.
back with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
So he knew about it. It's just been popping on and off, so I'm just gonna write him a warning since he got it working. Make sure everything's good with his license. County Broad 46, copy of 27. These are actually test kits in case we run across any drugs on the street. We can usually identify them and say that they're drugs, but we use a chemical test to actually test them. If they turn a certain color, that does identify it as testing positive for that type of drug we think it is. And then we can have enough to actually make the charge for that drug. It'll actually be sent on for further chemical testing to confirm, which is a lot more stringent tests for court, but this gives us enough probable cause to make the charge on the scene by, doing a field test for these. These actually are stop sticks. They connect together and they form a long line, and that little lanyard there, if we have a vehicle that doesn't want to stop, you can throw them out in front of the vehicle and they send little hollow spikes into the tire, slowly deflates them, and that way when the officers are behind, we take that lanyard and we jerk them out of the way for the law enforcement behind, and it slowly deflates their tires so it can bring it to a controlled stop. So,
Very cool.
stop sticks.
Very cool. Is this a robbery in progress?
It's a fight in progress.
County K-9 41, I'll be in route to Lincoln above.
Sorry.
You're good.
County Bravo 41, 1017 from the fuel pump.
County Bravo 41. Units en route to Abbeville Highway, be advised, it's going to be a 1082. It's going to be related to East Roosevelt Drive and Abbeville Highway. Units 1082, mother and daughter.
It's a mom and dad, mother and
Mother and daughter fighting?
yep.
County Bravo 38,
That same call that we
I got one pulling out.
That same call that you heard the deputy going to a minute ago
Yeah.
was that same call he was en route to. They just started fighting.
Wow.
So now we got one deputy
Yeah,
on
Mark.
scene. We're gonna still stay en route till he can make sure he's okay.
Okay.
Those were the tones I was talking about when you hear those drop. That's when you kind of take a deep breath to see what's coming in.
Okay.
That's what I was explaining to you about a call we normally don't run code to, and people will see us speeding a little bit, and people will complain a lot because they don't know we're going to, two people fist fighting in the parking lot. But if they did call, if dispatch said one of them does have a ball bat or possibly
Sure.
a knife, that we would step up, code 3, which is lights and siren.
But now, as you said, someone's
Bravo 32 County.
who has apprehended them, or
But there's a deputy on scene with them. We're still going to respond, get there as best we can, because one deputy is, if two people are fighting, both of them, their tensions are still high, they're probably mad, and it's usually when it's just one deputy trying.
County Bravo 32, what they need assistance with, I can divert.
We're going to this call.
Emergency 1082.
County Bravo 38, I'm 10-4. 10-22, any of that.
10-4. Bravo 41, Bravo 46, and K9 41, I shoot back 10-8.
K9 41, copy.
County Bravo 46, 10 on the call on Dobbins Bridge.